Alright, so I just got done watching You, Season 4, Episode 10. There will be a Season 5, the final season, they say, coming someday. So I just want to give you a quick recap of Season 3 and Season 4. But before I do, just a quick summary of how I feel about the show. The show is pretty remarkable, pretty surprising, especially with season 4. You see an introduction to this concept of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. This little like Fight Club syndrome. I wanna spoil this show just like I do with all my spoiler. What am I saying? All my spoiler videos. Okay. I totally messed that up, but you know who really messes things up? Joe. That's my name. That's the name of the guy. The star of the show. So the show is like, the guy, Joe, he's a little bit like Dexter Morgan. He's a little bit like Walter White in Breaking Bad. He's a little bit like Rick Morgan. Rick, what's his name again? Rick Grimes. I was thinking about Morgan too. Morgan and Rick. Anyways, I'm making fake generalities. Excuse me. Forgive me for doing that. But anyways, really quick. My general feeling of the show is it's good in a way. It's good. It's good in a lot of ways. Like it reminds me of Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12, because sometimes you think you know what's going on, and then they will show you don't, and they'll show you what really happened. And so a lot of times you're thinking you know what happened, but then they show you here's what really happened. Sometimes you see stuff from somebody's perspective, and then you realize that was the wrong perspective. And for a minute I thought the hot librarian Miriam was thinking that the guy was Joe, and really it wasn't Joe. It was the Picard's son. And I thought that was pretty intriguing. And I really do want to walk you through every episode of the last 2 seasons of You. I'm gonna show you a few screenshots. All right, I'm not gonna just sit here and talk the whole time, even though I probably could. I probably should. I want to talk for the next 10 hours talking about this show, because I feel like it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I've been disappointed. A lot of times I'm disappointed when I see people die. Sometimes it's good. Like Nerdrotic said, like it moves the story, and sometimes people die. Sometimes you gotta have people die. It raises the stake. But then if you go crazy like Game of Thrones crazy, if you kill too many people, or you don't kill too many people, like it's just so many things can go wrong. And I really do like the characters, like the girls that Joe get with. Like he gets with a girl, she might be the one, but then something goes wrong, and then he has to jump off a bridge, and then they save him, and that was good. The biggest surprise was Miriam lived, and that was really good that the student girl was able to come up with a plan and a backup plan. They did a backup plan, and she faked her death, but she took some pills, and then Joe thought she was dead, but really she slowed down her heart, just like Wolf in season 3 of Star Trek Picard. Wow, that's so cool, so great, so amazing. pretty creative in some ways. I'm being a little bit sarcastic, but not really sarcastic, because I really do think it's good. I'm happy because I didn't want her to die. And when I saw that she was dead, I was like, it looks like she's dead, and I was not happy because I like her character, and she's a great mother. And, like, she's the kind of person that I'd probably be with. Like, I was thinking about who's my favorite out of all those characters, those four characters, four girls that Joe was with, and my favorite might be Miriam, even though the last one is pretty good too. I mean, Kate, she reminds me of the mother of Batman in the prequel show, Pennyworth. That's a show about the butler, Alfred Pennyworth. It's a pretty good show. I like Batman. I like the Gotham show, and then they came out with Pennyworth, and it's all about the butler, and before Batman was even born, and it shows you Batman's father and how he met Batman's mother. What was her name again? Martha. And so Kate looks just like Martha Wayne. Looks just like Martha, like in a lot of ways. And so I was thinking about Martha a lot in season 4 of You, not you, but you. Not you, but you. So I thought that was good. And so I'm just thinking about all this stuff, and unfortunately, after the girl saved the hot librarian, Miriam, she gets framed. Joe kills her boyfriend, and frames it on him, or her. What am I thinking? What am I saying? On her. And that's, I guess, is understandable because that's what Joe does. He has to take care of himself, and that's the kind of thing that he's been doing. I mean, the other crazy thing, like I said, like the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde syndrome, that split personality, bipolarism, whatever it is within him, the fact that he was able to not know like what he was doing, kind of thing. I think it got worse by the time you get to the fourth season. Is a lot worse than before. Than like season 1. Season 1, it's almost like he's still learning about himself in a lot of ways, and he still thinks he can do it, that he can handle himself, but he learns a lot in season 1, and then in season 2, it starts off like I think it's from his perspective in a way, or somebody else's perspective of what's going on, like what's happening, how he moved from New York to LA, and he met the girl Love. But then, like later on at the end of episode 1 of season 2, or the next episode, they show you what really happened was Joe had it all planned. And they show you that after showing you a bunch of stuff that you think you know what's going on, but then later on they show you don't. And I mean, I think they sort of did that in season 1, but then in season 2 they went ahead and didn't run away. Like immediately within the first few episodes, they were just like showing you that, and that was like the Ocean's 11 moment. The here's how it really happened moments started happening more often. And then season 3 is Joe and Love in this rich neighborhood, this random city somewhere. I don't even remember where they were. But right away, they start to show you what's going on there and how he's like already moving on, like he's thinking about the neighbor. And then they kill off the neighbor, and I was pretty sad about that because I liked her. And I was thinking about this, like in season 1, there was a girl, but then Joe has to kill her. What was her name again? What was her name? It rhymes with Jess. I was trying to remember. I was thinking about this last night. I was trying to remember it, thinking about it in my head. I was like, I gotta remember. What was her name? And I was thinking it might be Jess or something that rhymes with Jess. And I was going through the alphabet, and it took me a few minutes thinking about it. And eventually I got to the letter B, and I was thinking, okay, it's not Jess. Okay, letter B. Bess, like Jess, Bess. No. I figured it out. It came to me. Finally came to me. It's Beck. That's her name, Beck. So it's like Joe has to kill Beck in season 1. And then in season 2, it's Candace. And also the hot landlord lady too. So it's like 2 in 1. And I really like the landlord lady too. Possibly more than the hot librarian. If I have to pick, who do I like more? I probably like the hot landlord a little bit more because he kind of reminds me of Jasmine. I can show you a whole new world, said Aladdin in Disney's Aladdin. I can show you the world. Whoa, really? Yeah, you girl. Oh, really? So, season 1, Kate. Season 2, Candace, and the hot landlord. Season 3, it was the neighbor lady. Season 4, nobody. It would have been Miriam, and I thought they killed her off, and that would have continued the pattern of killing off a lead female role in every season. And then it makes you wonder, are they gonna have to kill Kate in season 5? I don't know. Anyways, I don't mean to go on and on about all this. I will. I'm tempted to what's the word? What do they call that in Congress? Filibuster? I don't mean a filibuster. I say stuff like animals are dying and Kathy sold my bag. And TikTok deleted my 3-second Bob Marley video. Not Bob. No, I'm joking. It wasn't Bob Marley. It was Ricky Martin, actually. I don't know why Bob Marley's in my head. Bob, get out of my head. Get out of my head, Bob. Picard's son. Oh, man. Picard's son. Oh. I do have one question before I show you season 3 and 4 really quickly. I have one question that's on my mind right now. I probably have other questions too, but the one question on my mind is Picard, Captain Picard, Jean-Luc Picard, played by Patrick Stewart, his son. Okay, so Joe's alter ego guy, he tells Joe to kill Kate's father. My question would be, how did Joe know about Kate's father? I guess I think I know the answer. I'm sorry to break it to you. I thought I had a unique question, like a great question that nobody could answer, but I think I got the answer. The answer is very simple. It's like because Joe is so obsessive, he started becoming interested in Kate because he looked out the window from his apartment in England and he saw Kate. And so he he came up with a plan on how to get her. He's like, okay, I have to do this, I have to do that. But that was his alter ego. But he also had to decide whether or not she's the one. Just like he looked at Beck and Love and am I missing anybody? Candace? No, he didn't really do it with Candace, I don't think. But after finding out that she didn't really love him, and after trying to get rid of her, Joe's like, I'm not gonna do that again, and he started becoming very obsessive about it. And so he's like, I'm gonna have to look up anybody, make sure there's no skeletons in their closet, no oatmeal in their bowl. Here we go. You, seasons 3 and 4, spoiler review. It's like a fight club, like Mr. What's it called again? Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It's like Dexter Morgan. It's like the Fight Club. It's like Hannibal. I wanted to say Hannibal. Yeah, Hannibal. You remember Hannibal? You remember the show? It had Mr. Morpheus from The Matrix actor in it, and some other people. That was pretty good. And the one actor who was also in Star Wars Rogue One. So anyways, here's Joe with Candace. Candace was pretty hot. Ooh, love Quinn. Ooh, Beck. I always believed there was one out there. I'm a peepee Tom. Right in there. I killed my father. What did you do? You go in here. Oh, thank you, love. I wolf you. Love you too. I'm gonna put some weird creepy stuff in the box, 'cause I'm a weirdo. My name's Joe. Hi, I'm Love's brother. 40. No, Love killed Candace. And the hot librarian. Wait a minute. No, that's not the librarian. It's the hot landlord. Oh, and she had to go to Florida. Yo, I'm pregnant. Ooh, I want to protect my daughter in Florida. Oh, wait, no, that's my daughter. That's the landlord's sister. Oh, wait, it's not a daughter. It's going to be a son. San Francisco? Is that where they were? Not L.A.? Wait a minute. This is where they moved. They moved to San Francisco area. And there's a mom. Ooh, it's Natalie, the hot neighbor girl, lady. She's married. So Joe is just sitting there, and he's watching Natalie. And he's trying to, feed the whales? This is the part where he runs into the hot librarian, Miriam. From the moment I laid eyes on you, I really liked you, Miriam. You're the hot librarian. You will always be my hot librarian. I liked you. And then Joe hooked up with you. Like, right away, like, immediately. You got a problem, Joe. Wait, I'm Joe. It's Joe's son. Love, I'm on a diet. I can't eat any of your food. You stupid bakery that you got from Natalie, and then you killed Natalie. And then later on, they become like they become like best friends, and then they do a weird foursome thing. It's very weird, and it's almost like they're gonna have to like kill this girl and her man who took Joe out for hiking with the boys, and Joe almost killed the guy, but it's like it's impossible. And then they get stuck in the cage, and then they escape because there was like there were like 2 secret keys that they hid because they don't trust each other. Joe and Love don't trust each other. They get stuck in the keys, and they almost die. They were able to escape, and then later on they go and they speak at the TED Talk. Oh no, it's Natalie's husband. He's like trying to figure out what happened? And he's like, oh, maybe it was Joe. Wait, maybe it was Love who did it, who got my wife. And then his son is like having an affair with Love. Love ends up hitting him and then dragging him down into the basement. And they don't know what to do. They don't want to kill him. They end up telling him some stuff about his family, and he's devastated, and he hangs himself. But it's kind of like, if you think about it, like, why was Love mad at this guy? Because he like didn't do something, like the little jabby thing. Like, I don't know if I can say that on YouTube without being deleted. I could still be deleted, but they really did try to like blame it on him and try to make him look like a bad guy. And they put him in this situation, and then he ends his life. They were able to make it look like he killed Natalie, and then he hanged himself in his house, in his own house, and they're able to pin it on him. There is what's going on here? Natalie's. I hope I didn't mess up this recording. Let's see. Did I mess it up? Is it still recording? Let's see. Natalie's son having an affair with Love. The then wife of Joe. There's the hot librarian again. Oh no, they're hiking. They're camping. There's Natalie's husband trying to find the real killer. And he's going all Irish Jones on us all. There's Love in a tub talking to 40 and texting 40. And then, even though 40's dead, and then she has to say goodbye to 40. And Joe singing in the rain, kissing in the rain. It's like, this is the Notebook moment. You had me at hello. That's right. You had me at hello. Oh my God, we can't do this. Oh my God, are you sure? Back to Love. Love's mother tries to run away with the baby. This is the part where they try to have a foursome, but then Love realizes that Joe's closing his eyes because he's thinking about the librarian. And then she runs off, and then they're fighting, and they overhear that they killed Natalie. And now they know, and then they have to fight. They have to fight them and then drag them into the basement. No, let us out. And then like the son of Natalie is almost killed, but then they're able to take him to the hospital, so he's not dead. So the hot librarian was not happy that her ex has custody, a lot of custody over her daughter, and he's not a good guy. And Joe's like, what do I do? Maybe I drug him. No, he's a druggie. He's immune. So he's like, okay, what do I do? So he ends up going and killing him, knocking him off, just like he did the first guy. Knocked him off, but then he survived. Then he had to go and stab him. And then he had a bloody white shirt. Love found it, and now Love is gonna kill him. But then he knew about that because he knew that she had a garden, and she was growing these herbs that could paralyze you, and that's what he did. I mean, that's what she did. I mean, she paralyzes Joe, but then he took some pills to try to counteract that, and then he was able to stick a needle in her leg, and then he cut off 2 toes, and he burned down the house and walked away. He he cut off his own toes, 2 toes, and he put it in a meat pie like Sweetie Todd. Jack Sparrow, Johnny Depp, Sweetie Todd. What a good movie. A musical, a singing Jack Sparrow. Can you believe it? And he cut off his own toes. Can you believe it? And he got out of there. So kind of like, I don't know, like Jason Bourne is like, Joe faked his death, and they're okay. They're like, okay, they're dead. And Joe had to send his son off to a male couple. Season 4, Joe has a beard. Now he's in England, and he's looking for Miriam, the hot librarian. Joe ends up going to some party with these people, including her, some kind of celebrity lady. Before love died, love scared this girl, Miriam. And so that's why Miriam ran away. And Joe was able to find her. And she wants to get away, get far away from Joe, because he's a killer. And he's like, I'll let you go. Here is the son of Picard in Star Trek Picard Season 3. This is the son, Jack Crusher. And you don't know yet that he's actually the alter ego of Joe. But he's based on a real person who's running for office. Here is a PI guy, and he was going after Joe, and then he wanted Joe to do something. Here is Joe with this James Bond-like guy. He played Alfred Pennyworth in Gotham on Fox. Here is Joe in his Fight Club moment, his Brad Pitt and the other guy moment. Joe ended up killing this guy. At one moment, Joe's like, oh no, somebody got into my apartment and knows who I am, but it turns out it was just him knowing that he was himself. Oh, by the way, Joe killed Kate's husband. Then Joe killed this girl. And then this guy was going after Joe. And then they were stuck in in a dungeon by the other guy who was actually himself. So it's like he actually locked himself down there with this guy. And then he had to escape because he didn't know that he is himself at that time. The famous girl, the popular celebrity girl, her name is Phoebe. She is really good. She's really hot. She's a blonde. There's this other lady who's like crazy about her and thinks that they're best friends. And then they had to get out of that situation. Joe helped by framing a murder on the crazy lady, who reminds me of the mother on that 70s show, the grandmother on that 90s show. She has a lot of money, and she's with this boy, and I think this boy just wants her money. They have a bad relationship in a way, but they keep on coming back together, and he likes other guys doing the golden shower. And in the end, the hot blonde girl, she ends up teaching English in Thailand. Jonathan, I don't need to know about your past. I used to be somebody else too. I don't need to know that you're really Joe. I was somebody else too. And as long as you don't ask me about my past, I won't ask you about your past. And Joe is having a hard time. Joe feels like every time he's really close to a girl, she dies. This is the part where Joe kills the guy and then realizes that this guy doesn't even know him because this guy is also in his head, but the person that's in his head doesn't exist. It's not really a real person. So the person that knows him doesn't exist. It's really himself. It's like his split personality. Man, Joe's getting pretty messed up. He's getting worse and worse. So this is episode 8. It's really, really difficult to watch. Very powerful. I was on the edge of my seat, and I was like trying to figure out what's going on with Mariam, the hot librarian, and like she's here, and the only way that she's able to survive is she's just constantly thinking about her daughter, and she's coming up with these fairy tales of like once upon a time, and the prince turned into the monster, or was always the monster. And it's very hard. It kind of reminds me of some of the episodes from Fear the Walking Dead, in some ways, loosely. But it's like it's very difficult. It's good that this is not dead, that she survived. But as you're watching it, you don't know that, and so it's very difficult to watch, because I didn't want her to die, because she's a very likable character. And it's this. Here's a part where Joe's student found Miriam, and yeah. Then back to Joe talking to himself. You know, after killing that guy, realizing that the other guy is just himself. Kate's father looks like Commissioner Gordon from Batman. Yeah. And it's like Kate says, like, he's the devil, he's a terrible guy. And then you find out that he might be a terrible guy, but he got a lot of money, and he tries to buy anything he wants, including Kate. But in the end, Joe's able to sneak in to his little airport hangar and smother him to death with like a pillow. I don't blink web anybody. I promise. I don't kiss and tell. I don't want anybody to Tiffany combo me. So please don't talk about it. I won't talk about it. I won't tell you anything. But I kind of felt like that early on, like seeing him, realizing that he's messing up with his daughter's life, and she like killed people accidentally or whatever, doing work for him, and she was never able to forgive herself. He wanted her to take over the family business, whatever that is. He got a lot of money. He's like a billionaire or whatever. And Joe was able to kill him in the end. And that was kind of good. This is the part where Joe found Miriam, the hot librarian, and he thought she was dead. So he took her to a bench outside and had to make it look like she overdosed. Joe put a plastic bag over his head. That's the father of Kate. This is the student that was able to save Miriam, the hot librarian. After killing the father, Joe's standing there on the bridge. He throws his alter ego off the cliff. He throws his cell phone off the cliff. Off the bridge. And then he throws himself into the water to drown. But later on, they found him and they saved him. But meanwhile, his life flashed before his eyes. He was thinking about Kate. Kate's like, you Americans are so emotional. You think about this. They say people always regret it when they do that. I'm not gonna say anybody like name. I wouldn't say anybody's name because nobody watches my videos. But there's a lot of other people too. I'm not here to. I didn't say anybody's name, by the way. Please don't get me for this. But there's a lot of people, and I can talk about myself. I can talk about other people. Please don't get me, but I promise, like, very intriguing. Like, people regret it. when they do this, they shouldn't do it, but they do, and kind of thing. Especially when the economy goes down, caused by the globalists and everything. C's pretty devastated. C wants to try to figure out who Joe is and take him down, stop him once and for all. They sneak into his house or his office to find the box. This is the part where she comes to the hospital to talk to Joe, and Joe is totally honest, and he's like, you're probably gonna walk away, and she doesn't. And he's like, my name is actually Joe. I work at a button factory. That's right. My name is Joe. I'm working at the button factory. Really? The button factory? Nobody liked the button factory. Gotta press this button. And then Joe ends up killing this guy because he knows too much. I wasn't really happy about that. But I understand. That's what Joe does. That's the kind of person he is, I guess. And Joe frames the murder of her boyfriend on her. And then she's thrown in jail. I'm not really happy about it, but that's what Joe does. And now Joe is back in New York, and they have a cover story on how his former wife, Love Quinn, was crazy and was trying to kill him, which is partly true. They kind of left out some of it, and this is kind of like what they actually do in real life with like people with a lot of money, whether it's the Clintons or other people. They kind of do this kind of thing, whether it's politicians, actors in Hollywood, other people. They kind of do this kind of thing. The easiest way to hide truth is by telling the truth, but you leave out some of it. You kind of do half-truths, and that's what they're doing with Joe. He's telling parts of his story, but not all of it. They're not telling everybody that he killed a bunch of people or he did this thing or that thing. Maybe they just kind of talk about some of it, but not all of it. And then they're able to like pretend to be a little bit honest. And now it makes you wonder what's going to happen. I like the librarian, but the story arc there is pretty much over. I mean, they could bring her back if they want. I guess if you read the books, you kind of know what's going to happen. I haven't read the books, so I don't know what's going to happen in season 5. I'm a little bit disappointed, like I said, in some ways, about some of the things that happen in the show. But for the most part, it's a pretty good show. It has a lot of surprises. If you don't know, like, first time you see it, it's very surprising, and you could probably watch it again. There is a lot of rewatchability because it's very well done. It's very interesting, and it is difficult to watch a show like this because it's about the bad guy in a way. He's the antagonist, or he's the like anti-hero kind of thing. Kind of like Dexter Morgan, a little bit like Dexter Morgan. Maybe a little bit like Walter White in Breaking Bad. Now that's a little bit different because he's not like, I guess he wasn't as terrible as Dexter. I mean, I guess that's up to debate, but some people would argue that Walter White was a little bit better. I don't know. I like Walter White. I like Dexter. And I always looked at these characters like I do with Batman. Like, I think of them like Batman. But I could be totally wrong. Maybe my moral compass is totally whack. Like, totally gone. I don't know. It's pretty devastating. But it's just like, I love these kinds of shows, mystery and suspense, and it's a thriller, a little bit of romance, a little bit of comedy. It's mostly a thriller, a show like this. Mostly like whatever Ocean's 11 is. Kind of like that. Kind of like a show that's like, you don't know what's going to happen. And then they show you later on what's really happening. I like that. Because like, you're guessing. It's a little bit like Monk. I like that show. The detective guy. It's a jungle out there, you know? That song. It's a jungle out there. Like, that's pretty good, I think. So I think about this kind of stuff, and I like to compare the show with other shows and movies. That's why I'm always talking about that. And that's very important to me. But again, it's difficult because if he's the bad guy, does that mean he has to die? Or can he be redeemed like Darth Vader in Star Wars? Can he become Anakin Skywalker again?